So Bitcoin versus altcoins, that's going to be the subject matter today, and we're going to dive in deep today. My name is Paul Barron. This is TechPath. All right, so everybody wonders, Bitcoin, altcoins, where should I be putting my money right now if I'm a crypto investor, and what's going to be working? So what we do on the show here is we try to do these market movers, which really dive into both analytics, a little bit about of sentiment data that we're pulling in from a company called VeChain, and then also analyzing what's happening in the space around different analysts that are also tracking against this to really uncover, hopefully for you, something that's going to really help you kind of make your decision in terms of how you're investing in crypto. So that's number one. Of course, always as a disclaimer, this is not investment advice. It is an educational and research package that is based on our own findings and options. We are not financial advisors and highly recommend you do your own research and due diligence on any kind of investment you're doing, whether public or private. Let's get into the market mover topics, which is going to be Bitcoin takes some heat. Everybody knows it's kind of sliding around, even though as we film this, Bitcoin is running at around 56. Is altcoin season here? Where the market will move, and then what alt to buy. We're going to give you all those things today and breaking it down. First thing is, as Bitcoin, this is just a piece over from Bazinga, Bitcoin dominance falls below 50% after 30 months, and these cryptocurrencies are responsible. So basically what they're saying here is the crypto coin market or the cryptocurrency market, Bitcoin has been pretty much the dominator for a very, very long time. And the fact that it is now pulled underneath 50% in terms of the market share is a pretty indicative scenario that this could be altcoin season, because a lot of people want to know, hey, is it altcoin season? Are we getting ready to roll into a lot of coins that could make their move and see, the kind of rises that Ethereum saw in the last, what I feel was the last altcoin season. So that's kind of where we're going. But as you break this down, Bitcoin's market capitalization dominance stood between or below 50% market in early hours of Wednesday at press time. When they did this, after 30 months staying above that level, what happened? The apex cryptocurrency market dominance was 49.5%. And of course, the resurgent altcoins brought an end to its majority dominance. Ethereum is a big one, which reached an all-time high of 2702. And Ethereum is still, as of recording today, is still on a tear. Many people think that Ethereum may hit $3,000 very quickly, maybe within the week. So that is a huge scenario. And of course, Tuesday was second in terms of the market dominance at 14.7%. Bitcoin traded at 2.65% higher, which was around 54,000. This was back when this editorial piece was done. And ETH was trading at about 5.5% higher at the $2,600 mark. So the point is that this is starting to show that altcoins are in fact starting to take a little bit of the sizzle off of Bitcoin, not necessarily in a bad way. I think we're still going to see Bitcoin investment as the primary investment in cryptocurrency. The difference I'm starting to see is maybe we've got people shaving off a little bit of profits and moving those into some altcoins to diversify their portfolios. If you look at this chart, which kind of shows some of the other coins and how they're slowly moving up there, you can kind of see Bitcoin pre of 2016, there was just like no altcoin out there. Then you roll into 17, then you roll into 18. And as you can kind of see in 2021, it starts to really panel its way up. Obviously, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance, which is a big one, Polkadot, Dogecoin in its own right, and then Cardano has been one of the key factors in where some of this market assumption has come from. So that's definitely where this is kind of flowing. I wanted to take a look at, well, all right, let's see, is Bitcoin going to bounce around at the $50,000 to $60,000 range over the summer? Will we see it hit 70,000? That's kind of the question mark. And this chart right here, which is showing the sentiment analysis on the dips, again, where we register sentiment, because that's the best way when you get into registering sentiment on the highs or on the bull run, is a lot of times it's overinflated. So I always want to look at sentiment at its worst. So that tells me what the pure interest is in the coin or in the market. And it also gives me a much better understanding of whether or not the market has full conviction in that particular scenario, and this one being Bitcoin. So you can see the dip here back in January. You see, or no, it was the February dip at 71.5%. Remember, this is Bitcoin, which already has a very high sentiment rating. The March dip went to 71.93. But here's the one that was in late March and was the one that really concerned me, because we've had big dips before, but this one concerned me because this one dropped into the 60s for the first time this year. And this is on Bitcoin, so at 69.06 in terms of the sentiment as it relates to the dip in late March. Now we're starting to see a bit of a climb. This is where it gets a little bit unusual, because with sentiment being so tight right here, not a lot of deviation, but a lot of bit of movement, and we're starting to see it kind of bounce around. The question is going to be really, will it move into the $65,000 to $75,000 mark or value mark? Let's take a look at what's happening over at Trade the Chain. Let me kind of just bump over to that. We'll go to the live feed real quick. All right, so this is essentially where we are currently trading at around 56.6. You can kind of see here, let me kind of zoom in on this one right here. What I want to just show you was this neutral rating and bullish long-term rating. Now you see Ethereum right underneath that, just to kind of give you an idea. That's the Ethereum piece. Let's jump over here. So again, this is trading neutral right now, being Bitcoin, with a 68 rating on bullish. Ether trading 67, which is at its current all-time high on daily sentiment, and then long-term sentiment coming in at 70, again, rating above it. But what is really interesting to me is the tweet volume, which is at plus 16% on Ethereum. So the whole point behind these kinds of scenarios here is when you see both volume of conversation, remember Metcalfe's law, which is the whole concept of the effect of people and the whole idea around groupthink that kind of moves you into understanding how a particular stock, company, social media, or in this case, cryptocurrency moves. And the Metcalfe law is kind of going in that direction, where it starts, because it is a social effect application. When you look at what's happening around altcoins, most of the traffic around altcoins are very positive, and that's why I feel like we're seeing a lot of the, the overall market cap pulling away from Bitcoin. Not that that's going to be a long-term thing, but it definitely is something to keep an eye on in the short term if you are trading Bitcoin actively. So that's the other thing to kind of move into it. Let me jump back over to our deck here. So I want to talk about some of the coins that are moving here, and this one is Cardano. So this was here just a recent piece on Cardano. Despite short-term volatility, and Cardano did have some volatility in the short term, but they've had a very good correction. And that is one of the things that I'm still very bullish on this coin. I like it. It has become an important altcoin, cryptocurrency other than Bitcoin, of course. ADA is its call, and of course it's a native currency of the Cardano blockchain platform. Year to date on this is up over 630%. Its price is currently shy of $1.30. ADA's market capitalization cap of $41 billion puts it among the top 10 cryptos out there. Let's look at the dips on this one to kind of compare to what we're seeing over at the Bitcoin. So if you look at this sentiment chart, and we go back into February, this is really where Cardano started to see its rise. And I'll show you a little bit about this and go more long range when we jump over to Trade the Chain here. This one, of course, coming in at 42.6. So that's a big difference, because 42-point rating in sentiment all the way to a 70-point rating, which is where Bitcoin kind of currently flies, is a big difference between those two coins. It simply means mass market versus alternative market. And that's where we're starting to see movement in the Cardano coin. So if you look at now the March dip, look how far this thing jumps. It goes from a 42.6 to a 61.3. Big move, obviously a big move price-wise in where this cryptocurrency is trading. And then, of course, now at the April dip, you see it also jumping again and again, taking another price rise on this one. So just let's go over to Trade the Chain real quick and take a look at Cardano. As you can see, right here is Cardano and where it's flowing. Let's go down to the day view, and that'll give us all the way back to 20 year to date right there. So you can kind of see the move and where it's heading out around this. This coin is definitely one that if you were in early in December, this is a high flyer for you. The question is where does Cardano stop? That's going to be the question. I think Cardano is on a very early chart here, and definitely one to keep a look at. If you look at the rating here on Trade the Chain, they have this at neutral at 54 and bullish on long-term sentiment at 73. And right here is the big one, which of course is the social media activity on there. So at 62.33%. So huge rise in terms of where its overall tweet volume is going, the relative versus to trade volume. When you look at those comparisons, it tells me that we've got a potential here for a buying opportunity and being able to take a ride up on the elevator with Cardano. Let's continue on to take a look at other altcoins, and one I like and why I like it is Polkadot. Now, Polkadot is a little different. It's a little different coin, and the reason is this coin is trading, and also the technology is working more to where it can do other things on the blockchain other than transact financial transactions. It even goes into the ability of, one example they give is being able to give a transcript to, a college or an educational institution, where you could move that transcript through the blockchain and be able to track all of this to where it would still be out on a contract on the public chain. So there's a lot of opportunities here for Polkadot to really kind of move as a technology. We just covered Algorand, which has a very similar, proposition, I think, in terms of their technology of their blockchain tech is so much bigger, even though they do have a coin that helps kind of tie to that. It really is so much bigger than what the actual coin is doing. So with Polkadot, I like it. Let's take a look at where this one is going, and let's take a look at their market dips and how sentiment was holding. Now, this one is a little bit lighter in terms of sentiment scoring, at least on our end. If you look at the January dip, 43.5. They had a March dip, 52.64, up. Also, you can kind of see it flows along with the fact that that Polkadot is rising. And then here we are in the middle of an April dip that happened, and we're still rising here on sentiment at 61.9. And you can kind of see the early chart right here as it starts to flow, that it's heading upwards in terms of its value. So this is another coin that I like. Let's take a look at where this one is trading right now. Let's jump back over here to Trade the Chain, and Polkadot trading at 35.84. So you can kind of see where they are. It's 33.48 billion market cap, which is up quite a bit at 7.93%. So again, another one of the altcoins that I feel is one that if you are looking at altcoins and you're looking for big movement and potential elevator rides on cryptocurrency, this might be one of them that could help you out. As you can see, those are a couple of coins that I would definitely take a look at, being Cardano and Polkadot. There are, of course, many others. If you would like, you should check out. Let's go look at Trade the Chain, because I want to kind of show you some of the altcoins. Some of these are really hot right now in terms of where they're flowing. Let's jump into that, and let's do a quick bullish long-term sentiment ranking here and see where we fall. You can kind of see there's the Origin protocol, very bullish at 132. All the way down here, you see Pirate Chain at 105. We've talked about that one before. Just got a chance to get Pirate Chain the other day. Solana, which I'm invested in, very bullish at 89. Celo, which is another coin that I really like. I want to do a market mover on Celo because I think this is a coin that has a big opportunity to be moving around. This one, of course, is trading at 539 right now. Let's take a look at where they are. You can kind of see it's on a bit of a flat line. This is over the last hour. Let's see what this thing is doing over the range here. And you can kind of see where we are. This coin is taking a little bit of a bump and starting to move around a bit. So I think this is one of those coins that definitely has some interesting things. The other thing with Celo, there's also a lot of news in the marketplace, which is kind of interesting. The other one that I like here after Celo is Binance Coin, which also is very bullish at 87. And then you see VeChain, which has been another one that had a very neutral position, but a long-term position. This one I'm not so keen on as much. And I've had some VeChain. It's definitely an interesting, technology that they're running, but it's one of those that I think is not quite there yet. But you can kind of see the lineup here as it continues to make its way, including Maker, which has had a bit of a ride, Tron, which is doing really, really well on its bullish side and also on the short-term side. So there's a lot happening here that really kind of tells me that we are definitely in altcoin season. Obviously, Ethereum's high, what's happening with Cardano and with Polkadot both, and what's happening over in the Bitcoin universe right now. It's going to be very interesting long term. I don't think we're going to see Bitcoin trading much above 65 to 70,000. I don't think it makes 70,000 by summer. That's one of the things, because once you hit the summer months, people start to, they're moving around, they're not doing as much activity. And I think that will have a variation on where the cryptocurrency business will go. We'll see how that goes. A little slower over the summer. Watch the DeFi integrations as well. Many companies are starting to work with both countries, other partners, and legislators to really kind of move in the DeFi space, which if we see more partnerships on this, I think it's going to definitely be one of those things that will make a difference in some of these coins. And of course, teeing up on the dips. That's the other factor that you've got to do when you are looking at altcoins, is you've got to be able to recognize when these dips occur. Make sure and stay tuned right here for some of the analysis that we're doing to show you these sentiment lulls, because as the sentiment lulls flow, that's going to help you understand of whether or not there is long-term conviction in that particular cryptocurrency, to help you kind of get an idea of whether or not you should be going in that direction. We've seen it so far tracking very nicely and holding and showing that the results are there, usually with a market rise. So I'm trusting what is happening in the sentiment side of things, and also kind of in this whole network effect that is occurring around social media and cryptocurrency investing. So make sure and stay tuned right here. If you're listening over on the podcast, make sure and leave us a rating. Also, you can subscribe to it, so it's one of those things. This is a much more visual experience, I think, for TechPath, so I would recommend that you jump over to our YouTube channel. And if you are on YouTube right now, make sure and subscribe, hit the bell so you can get more notifications on when we do stuff here on TechPath and get you more great late-breaking stuff. The other thing, if you have an idea for a show, send us an idea over to producer@revernetworks.com, or you can always hit me up on Twitter @PaulBaron. We'll catch you next time right here on TechPath.